1 year since I'm using a Linux, and today I am sharing my Linux experience with you by giving some answer of questions. Question 1. What operating system were you using before Linux? I was using Windows back then. It was Windows 10. Then I installed Garuda Linux, which is Arch based Linux. Then I jump Arch Linux, then Fedora, then Debian, Ubuntu, and currently I'm using Kali Linux. So yep, let's mark it as, let's do one thing. Check. Check. Nice. Why did you decide to switch to Linux? I was bored using Windows, and the thing Windows want to force me to use their Edge browser and showing their ads on the over here something called Explore. Whenever I try to open that, it appears from here and there are ads everywhere, so I get pissed off by it. That's why I choose to switch my operating system to Linux. What were you expecting before switching? I just want to try Linux once more, and the things I talked before, how annoying Windows was, and I'm a developer, so it will be easy for me. I mean, it should, it is required to at least try Linux, because it is possible. I have to work in an environment where Linux is necessary. Which Linux distro you start with, and why? I start with Garuda Linux. I used Garuda for 2 days only. Honestly, 2 days. I start with Garuda because it was a gaming distro, right? That's it. How was the installation experience? The Garuda Linux installation experience was way too easy. The hardest one was the Arch Linux. That pissed me off. But I have memories with Arch Linux where I install Hyperland, Rofi, Waybar. I have done many customization using dot files. It was great. Yes, it was great. What was the hardest thing to learn in the beginning? The hardest thing to learn in the beginning, to configure thing. I have to configure everything in Arch Linux, whether it is my monitor or even when I download first VS Code on my Arch, its resolution was awful. I don't know what was that, but I find some solution on Reddit. I copy paste on that config file and it get fixed. That's just one incident but I had a many incident similar to this where I have to change the main configuration files. It was painful. Did you face any hardware or driver issue? Yes! On my Arch Linux, my my speaker's driver wasn't found, so I jumped between media pipeline. There's a major two drivers for the speakers. One was a pipeline, I don't remember, let me search. Pipe wire and pulse audio, right? ELSA. Did you face any hardware issue? Yes, I had face issue with my speaker drivers. It wasn't found in Arch Linux. I used to configure pulse audio and pipe wire. I tried 2 or 3 days to configure it, but it wasn't helpful. So I use Bluetooth whenever I want to watch or consume some media. Did you ever think of switch back? Why or why not? I never think to switch back cause it is most of the easy part, cause I'm a developer. I want to install anything very quickly. Like if I want to install a Python, I will simply install sudo, then packet manager install and packet name. On Windows, I have to first of all go to the browser, then download and extract it to some folder, then copy the bin, save to the environment. It's way too much work. That's why I never think to switch back. What do you mainly use Linux for? I use Linux for development, and recently I am learning hacking, so this is one of the use case. That's why I'm using Kali Linux. Yes. Can Linux handle a daily workflow smoothly? Yes, I barely touch my processor. If I show you another terminal, then btop force utf. So currently it is showing 9 or 10% just because I'm using the OBS Studio. It is a heavy software and I'm recording videos at high quality, that's why. But still, see, my GPU is using 0%. And what are the other things? No, there is no other things. Oh, I leaked my IP. Which application do you use the most? Browser. I use Firefox. I use then Brave browser, and I use VS Code and Terminal too. I use Terminal also. How does Linux performance compute to your old OS? It is way too better. My Windows laptop was way too slow, I mean, that laptop with Windows was slow, but now with Linux it is very fast, and with the Arch Linux it was faster than now. How much have you customized your system? Very much. Not now. When I was using Arch Linux, I customize it. I customize this way more than now. Hopefully, I'm speaking well. I use dot files. Which desktop environment or Windows Manager do you use? Which desktop environment? Desktop environment? Windows Manager do you use? What do you mean by desktop environment? I use Window Manager. I think this is X11. I had used in past BSPWM, i3WM, then Hyperland, almost everything. Then desktop environment. This is, I don't know what is this, but I have also used KD Plasma, Genome. They both are major one, right? Check. How often do you use your terminal now? Literally for everything. Did Linux help you understand computer better? Yes. Now I am understanding computer way more better than Windows. I know every file directory of my Linux, which files are required. I mean, for the privilege escalation, from the privilege escalation to hacking. I'm way better now. What do you love the most about Linux? It is open source, right? It is free of cost. This doesn't force you anything like Windows. Windows force you to use their application for anything. The biggest example, it would be Edge browser. It's just annoying. What do you dislike or still struggle with? Let me think. I am still struggle with. I don't think so. I'm struggling with anything. No, I am not struggling with anything. Are there any apps or feature you miss? Yes, I miss games. I used to play games a lot. The game, what was the game name? It's a racing game, free on Windows App Store. I don't remember the name, but I also play game in Linux. I play Minecraft. I play Minecraft on Linux. Have updates ever caused problem for you? No, it never caused any problem for me. Is Linux suitable for beginner after your experience? It takes some time to get comfortable with it, but at the end it is worth it to use Linux. Who should switch to Linux? Every developer should switch to Linux. When it's come to productivity, the Linux is the best option for you. Who should avoid Linux? The person who fear technology and fear to debugging these things, or whose professional is, let's say video editor who wants to use Adobe apps, or a gamer who continuously use games, they should avoid Linux. Would you recommend Linux in 2026? Of course. Of course. Is there any doubt? Are you planning to stay on Linux for long term? I plan to stay on Linux forever. So that is it for today. Hope you like this video. If you like, do like and comment. You can ask your question on comment section. I will answer them for sure. So bye bye.